Have you got brilliant ideas but no traction? You might be stuck in quadrant two, the frustrated innovator. You've got a vision, but without execution, it's just noise. In this video, we'll show you how to shift from being overwhelmed to building momentum using the mindset of the scientist.
Welcome to Growth Mindset Matrix, where entrepreneurs rewire their thinking, build momentum, and engineer exponential growth. Let's unlock your next breakthrough.
So, your ambition is supposed to be your greatest asset, right? But lately, it feels like a prison. You've got the vision, you've got brilliant, world changing ideas that literally keep you up at night, but you're just trapped in a loop of overthinking and not doing. You're drowning in a sea of browser tabs, half finished plans, and the crushing weight of your own potential. It's a special kind of paralysis, one reserved for the most ambitious people. And this isn't just a feeling, there's real science here. In a famous study, researchers set up a jam tasting booth. One day they offered 24 jams, the next only six. The big table with 24 jams got more looks, but the small table with only six options sold 10 times more jam. More choices led to less action, and that's you, standing in front of a million possibilities for your vision, but totally unable to pick a single jam. The problem isn't your vision, it's your approach. You're trying to navigate a huge unknown territory with a rigid, detailed map when all you really need is a compass and the guts to take the first step. You're trying to be an architect when you need to be a scientist. The entire difference between a frustrated innovator and a true innovator is one critical mindset shift. You have to stop being a perfectionist and start being an experimenter. A perfectionist says, I'll start as soon as I have the perfect plan. But a scientist says, I have a hypothesis that I need to test. The scientific method isn't just for people in lab coats. It's the single greatest engine for problem solving ever created. And you can plug it into your life right now. Form a hypothesis, run an experiment, analyze the data, and draw a conclusion. This process is designed to do one thing brilliantly, and that's manage uncertainty. While the perfectionist is paralyzed by the unknown, the scientist is all fired up by it. They don't see the unknown as a risk. They see it as a chance to learn something. Embracing this scientist mindset is your escape key for three reasons. First, it totally reframes failure. For a perfectionist, failure is a disaster. It's a personal indictment of their worth. And for a scientist, failure is just data. An experiment that doesn't pan out isn't a failure. It's a successful discovery of something that doesn't work. And that's just as valuable as finding out what does. This lets you detach your ego from the outcome. You aren't the project. You are the scientist running the project. This simple shift lowers the stakes so you can actually get in the game. Second, a grand vision is by definition overwhelming, but a single experiment that's manageable. A scientist doesn't try to prove a grand theory in one go. They break it down into the smallest possible test. So instead of thinking I need to build an entire software company, the scientist asks, what's the quickest way I can find out if even 10 people would sign up for this? It's the iterative approach, tracking the problem one teeny piece at a time. And third, it builds momentum. Newton's first law of motion is also the first law of productivity. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. The hardest part is just getting started. Small, easy, simple experiments are designed to get you in motion. Each test, win or lose, gives you new information and a clear next step. This is how you will build real momentum, not with one giant terrifying leap, but with 100 small deliberate steps. Vision without action is just noise, and the scientist's mindset is how you turn that noise into clear action. If you're still watching, I bet this is all sounding painfully familiar. Tell me one vision that you've been sitting on, one idea that you've been stuck in your head. Just write it down and turn it into action. And if you're ready to finally bust that idea out of its cage, make sure that you're subscribed because your 7 day escape plan starts right here and right now. Welcome to the lab. For the next 7 days, you're going to stop being a visionary and start being a scientist. You're going to trade overthinking for action, perfection for data, and paralysis for actual progress. This week isn't about finishing your entire vision. It's about breaking the cycle of inaction and proving to yourself that you can move forward. We're going to run what's called a minimum viable test, or MVT, an experiment designed to test the core idea with an absolute least amount of effort. So, for day one, you're going to choose your experiment. Your only job today is to pick one thing to test, not the whole vision, just one teeny piece. You are the writer with the book idea. Your experiment would be not to write the book, but to write one chapter and post it online. If you're an entrepreneur with a new service in mind, your experiment is not launch the business, it's manually provide the service to 3 people for free. We're focused on a single feature to see if anyone cares. That fear of picking the wrong thing is going to be loud today. Ignore it. The point of this first experiment isn't to be a massive success. The point is to get data. You can't steer a car that's parked. Just pick a direction, any direction, and start moving. If you have too many ideas, seriously, write them on a piece of paper, throw them in a hat, and pick one. The cost of a wrong small experiment is basically zero, and the cost of staying stuck in indecision is infinite. Day two, get formal. You're going to turn your idea into a testable hypothesis. It's a simple sentence. I believe that this specific action will cause this measurable outcome. It forces you to get crystal clear on what you're actually doing and what you expect to happen. It pulls your idea out of the vague cloud of, I hope this goes well, and into the concrete world of, I'm testing for this specific result. For example, the writer would say, I believe that posting one chapter on a writing forum will result in at least 5 comments. The entrepreneur would say, I believe that offering my service to 3 friends for free will result in at least one of them asking how much to pay for it the next time. See how specific that is? Getting good feedback isn't measurable. 5 comments is. People liking it isn't measurable. One person asking to pay is. This is you thinking like a scientist. Today, you're going to do something that feels totally wrong to a visionary. You're going to ignore almost everything. For this 1 week experiment, you are only allowed to track one metric. And this one, for you, just defined in your hypothesis. For the writer is the comments. For the entrepreneur, it's people offering to pay. And that's it. Why just one? Because visionaries get lost chasing vanity metrics, website visits, likes, open rates, and they drown in meaningless data. For one single metric, that's your North Star. It's the only thing that tells you if your experiment's working. So for this week, if a number isn't your chosen metric, you are forbidden from looking at it. This radical focus is the cure for being overwhelmed. It keeps the test clean and the results clear. Quick pause. We're at the halfway point of the 7 day plan. And if you're feeling that old perfectionist voice telling you that this is too simple or that your hypothesis isn't perfect, good. That's the feeling of breaking the cycle. Remember the jam study we talked about. This is the antidote. We're chasing one jar of jam. If this is the kind of practical clarity that you need, make sure that you subscribe because we're just getting started. Okay, now back to the lab. It's time to build, but with strict rules. Your job today is to identify the very next 3 actions you need to take to run your experiment, and that's it. This is the three task max rule. All of those other brilliant ideas, optimizations, and what ifs, they go into the someday list that you can look at after the experiment's done. For the writer, the three tasks might be: finish editing the chapter, find and pick one writing form, write the short post to go with the chapter. And for an entrepreneur, it might sound like: write a quick message explaining the free service, find and text three friends who are the right fit, and schedule a time to do it. Limiting yourself to just three tasks kills decision fatigue and forces you to prioritize. It makes the next step small and obvious and impossible to procrastinate. You're not trying to boil the ocean, you're just trying to complete three teeny tasks. This is it. The day of action. Today, you push the button, you post the chapter, you deliver the service, you press the send button. You must embrace imperfect actions. The post won't be perfect, the delivery might be a little clumsy, your heart will be pounding, and your brain will be screaming, wait, just one more tweak. But do it anyway. Remember, you are the scientist. The goal today isn't a flawless performance, it's to release your experiment into the wild so it can start gathering data. Perfectionism is the enemy of data. Every second you delay to make it better is a second you're not learning. So ship it. Today, you're an observer, your experiment is live, and your only job is to watch and record what happens. Open a notebook and look only at the single metric that you defined on day 3 and nothing else. Did the writer get 5 comments? Write down the number. Did they get 3? Write it down. Did they get 0? Write that down too. Be ruthlessly objective. These numbers are not a grade on your self-worth. They are simply the result of your tests. And what if the result is 0? Well, congratulations. You just successfully discovered a strategy that doesn't work, and you did it in less than a week. That information is pure gold. You just saved yourself months, maybe even years of chasing bad assumptions. You have not failed. Your hypothesis failed. And that's exactly what science is. This is the final day where you act on what you learned. Based on the data from day 6, you have 3 clear choices: iterate, pivot, or kill. Iterate. The data looks promising. You got 4 comments instead of 5, or one person almost asked to pay. Then great. The idea has legs. Your next step is to iterate. Run the experiment again with one small change. Post on a different forum. Offer the small service to strangers instead of friends. Tweak one variable and rerun the test. If you have to pivot, the data was weak or non existent, 0 comments. This is a sign that your core strategy might be wrong. A pivot means you keep the big vision but radically change your strategy. Maybe a form wasn't the right place. Maybe the next test is starting a newsletter or even making a short video about the chapter. If you have to kill it, the data was terrible. And honestly, the experience taught you that you hate doing this. This is also a huge win. Killing a dead end idea frees up your time and energy for a much better one. No matter the outcome, you've won. You've broken the cycle of inaction. You have a real data point from the real world and not just a fantasy in your head. Now you just go back to day 1 and start the next 7-day sprint. This 7-day plan was never really about the week. It was about installing a new operating system in your brain, the scientist mindset. The Visionaries prison isn't made with steel bars. It's built from the fear of being wrong and the weight of finding that one single perfect plan. The escape is realizing there is no single plan. There are only experiments. Your ambition isn't any smaller. Your vision isn't any less of a grind. The only thing that's changed is your approach. You now have a tool to systematically chip away at that massive vision, one test at a time. You've replaced the anxiety of what if this isn't perfect with the curiosity of I wonder what this will teach me. This is how the real innovation happens, not in a flash of genius, but in a relentless, gritty cycle of hypothesizing, testing, and learning. You built momentum one experiment at a time until one day you look up and realize you're no longer standing still. You're finally in motion. Vision without action is a daydream. You've got the vision. Now you have the playbook for action. You have the escape plan. Oh, here's my challenge to you. Don't just file this away as another interesting idea. Start day one right now. Look at the vision that you wrote in the comments and pick one teeny testable piece of it. Define your hypothesis. Your escape plan doesn't start someday, it starts with a single 7-day experiment. If you're committing to taking the challenge, let everyone know in the comments by writing, I'm starting my experiment. You can download the free scientist worksheet that I linked in the description to help you structure your week. And if you're ready to find out what other traps you might be falling into, watch my next video, The Connector Quadrant. Now, go and start the clock.